What up YouTube, it's Missouri's Company. This is the next video in our beginner's guide series, and now I want to talk about settings. There actually are, believe it or not, settings, yes, even in a mobile game that you're going to want to change right now before you get too far into Diablo Immortal. And for you returning players, you might want to double check to make sure these settings are active. So these are going to be the best settings for Diablo Immortal. Let's get straight to it, guys. All right, so we just got done with sort of like the intro. So we just unlocked the codex as well as got our first main mission, the Risen Dead. Risen Dead rather. So it means we're getting ready to go to the first real zone, which is Ashwood Cemetery. Now we are level 11, which does feel like a little bit higher than it was the first 3 times I've done this. And because like I said previously, they did actually increase the amount of XP you get from main quests, which is also why I wanted to run through this again. But that is not the point of today's video. We are looking at the settings. So if you click on the 3 little lines at the very top, then go to the cog wheel, that is the settings if you're not familiar. You can change the text, the voiceover, and all of that. You can change the master volume. And some of this might look different because I am on the PC port. Most of it should be exactly the same. Now, if you want to make any adjustments or changes here, you definitely can. But also, this is a computer-related thing. But this right here, the auto pickup function, is a super phenomenal function in Diablo Immortal. So whenever you go over an item, it'll automatically pick it up for you. So make sure you hit this. Make sure all 3 are on. The only time that I would recommend taking some of these off is that, I mean, really never, but I have heard of people taking off the normal one because they get overwhelmed with their bag filling up too quickly. But for me, I would always rather port back to home or to Westmarch or wherever to sell it, because you're going to want the fodder from selling gear, which is, again, a video for a different time. So for the time being, go and leave all 3 of these on, and later down the road, I will showcase why and when you may want to turn one of these off. Auto navigation, you're basically always going to want on. It's phenomenal. It's basically the ability to auto walk to an area you've already been or a zone you completed, which makes it so much easier. You can run to the bathroom or do whatever, and then, you know, come back and you're where you want to be. If you want to, this is where you can, you know, I guess permissions for inviting people. I've never changed that. So controls. Personally, this is one that I would recommend. I think by default, it starts on small. Minimap, I would change it to large, especially in the very beginning. There's so much that you learn from your minimap and where you need to go. So that's why I always keep mine on large. You get so much information from your minimap, and it's really not as intrusive as one might think. And then you just want to keep all these on. If you want to turn off your clans, I tend to turn this one off because whatever. I don't want to cause drama for whatever clan I'm in, so you just turn it off. Controller. You can obviously change it to keyboard as well as control, and then on mobile, you do have a few other options here. It doesn't obviously look like it would say it, but one of them is like how close you can get to the button before it activates. I do that one, so that way it's a little bit easier. So you don't have to hit like directly on it. You can hit near the button, it still works. Keyboards, the only time you'd really want to remap any of these is if you were playing a Crusader, which maybe we'll cover in a later video, because Crusader has some weird mechanics when it comes to their horse on mouse and keyboard. But otherwise, controller, you can just obviously have one connected and then change whatever controls you want. Primary attack lock. I think this is usually on by default, actually. I turn this off because I like to just click near my person to auto attack, and I'll show you what I mean. So like I like to, oh, it's not gonna do it right now. That's awesome. But like on the wizard in particular or demon hunter, I really like having the ability of turning that off. So that way I can really interact better with the auto attacks a little bit smoother, if you will. Alt click to interact with UI. I never touched that one. And the rest of these are just personal preference. You can change them to be whatever you want. Display settings, by default, you're going to be on classic, which looks good. I mean, the game looks phenomenal considering it's a mobile game with a PC port. But I would highly recommend switching it to warm. This is a setting that I changed in the very beginning. It's just a little bit lighter, and you see a little bit more of the richness of the colors, a little bit less gloomy, but also brighter, like I said. So like when you are playing on your phone in a lit area where like the sun is super bright and the game's already really dark, it's really hard to see. So this, just without making it too obnoxious, you get a little bit more crispness, a little bit more colors. And for that reason, I've changed that and never ever went back. Moving on to display settings so full screen, these are all computer related. But yeah, mouse lock. Actually, I need to use the mouse lock more often when I'm editing videos, so that's good to know it's there. Graphics, I keep mine uncapped on my PC. If you wanted to lower it, you can. On most phones, you'll either have the option of 30 and 60. I don't think you can go up to 90 on the phone, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Vertical sync, I've never touched that. Image accuracy, image sharpness, I like to have a nice crisp. I like to really enjoy the graphics. I mean, the graphics and the design of this game carry it a long way. So for that reason, I do leave this on. Quality selection custom, I leave literally everything on high, but if you're seeing that your phone or your PC is having a hard time doing it, feel free to lower some of these. Shadows is one you can lower, fogs you can lower, post-processing I'd keep that on. Some of these you can definitely turn off without making it too much change to the game, but also taking a little bit of load off of your whatever you're using, either your phone, tablet, or even computer. Chat, they've had some changes to this from the first time I made one of these videos, so you can actually switch between the different zones in chat. Autoplay voice memos will play when you're in these different areas. Default text sizes, so I like the default because I'm not incredibly old. When I get older, maybe I'll use this one. And then this is just chat preview size. You can see it's obviously very, very big, but now you can only get one of them, whereas for this one you can maybe get 2, maybe even 3 lines. Speech to text, I know a lot of people that use this when they're like in a warband, which I haven't talked about yet, but it's stuff that you can do, like you can literally talk into like a microphone or a headset and it'll automatically type it out for you. Sometimes that's a little bit quicker if you don't want to be in Discord and you just want to talk to speech. This is a great option to kind of be more engulfed in the game and talk to people a little bit quicker without actually having to be in a voice chat. So these are some settings if you wanted to use them. Chat commands, if you wanted to, you can see all the different chat commands there and what they will do. I've never used any of them, probably never would. Narrate chat message, what? Read all text out loud. So if you are from your designated channel, so if you wanted to hear like all your clan chatter, you could actually have the game read it to you, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that was a thing. Account settings, let's not go through that right now. And then the legal jargon or whatever, that's going to do it for all the settings. I really just want to make sure, actually there might be one other one. No, I think that's it for right now. Later on, there's some settings that you can do to actually, when it comes to upgrading your stuff. And it used to be an issue where you couldn't use the old material for new upgrades and vice versa, so you actually had to like turn off one and turn off the other, but they basically negated that by giving you the option of using old and new material for whatever upgrades you're at for your legendary items. So don't worry about that one, but that's really it for the settings for this game. It's not too much, but there is some really phenomenal settings available to you, and like I said, ones that I would definitely recommend using when the time is right, or just some of the graphical settings I recommend. But that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I'm looking forward to continuing this series, and let me know what you want to see next in the comments below. And until next time, guys, lock it in.